Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of the 2021 USA TKD US Open. I'm National Coach Barbara Brand, along with my Poomsae pal, Miyako Yerick, and we're here to have some exciting viewing going on. How you doing, Miyako?
I am great, and I am super excited here because we have the first of the semi-final episodes, and big surprise, they're all red belts.
Ooh, this is gonna be exciting.
Right, so it's pretty small semifinal divisions. It'll go nice and quick tonight. We have the cadet male red belts first, followed up by the cadet female red belts.
Hey, Miyako.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right, and now we're going to move on with our first division here of the red belt semifinals, and we're starting with the female cadets.
And first up is Yuna Moon from Virginia. She trains at the Kimya Taekwondo Academy in Virginia.
And just before Yuna started, we got to see those referees. I was able to take a look at them, and there's actually a referee from Bolivia and I think from Canada. So this is a pretty diverse group for us here for these red belts, getting to have not just one, but two international judges in this group.
That's super lucky. A lot of us travel very far to get looked at by international referees from different countries. So it's really great that we can do it here without leaving our house.
Right. Well, she had to go all the way to her dojang, but hopefully that's nice and close to her house. And this is Yuna Moon. She says this is her first time entering competition. And I don't know if that's ever or just in a virtual sense, but either way, that's a big step. So great job to Yuna.
Yeah, big 5.8 to start off the division.
So the first form that they did was Taeguk Paljong, number 8. Now we're moving on to Taeguk Ojang, which is number 5. Paljong is probably their highest, hardest form that they just learned as red belts. But Taeguk 5, they should have had as the blue belt maybe. So they should have been able to work with this form for longer, feel more comfortable with it, maybe have a little more power, interesting tempo. In her spare time, Coach Brand, Yuna likes to bake cookies and apple pies. And she serves as a media team for her youth group as church and sings with her mother as a hobby.
Oh, that's great. She got a 5.9 for the second form. So she's gonna, I think, finish up with let's see, 5.85. Up next, we have Jhansi Lakshmi Dadaseti from, wait for it, from her home training space there. She looks fantastic. She trains in Pennsylvania with her coach, Jang Jae Kim.
Yeah, this looks like a finished basement. It's a lot nicer than a lot of basements. A nice clean wall there, so it's not very distracting. It also doesn't look like dark. I feel like most basements are dark and dinky and sad and scary, and this is like a nicely bright lit place. She has all these mats. This is really great.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I don't think I've ever been in a basement, so it looks like a great training space.
I forgot in California you don't have basements.
She is a 5.7.
Well, Jhansi Lakshmi is not new to the competition world, Coach Brand. She's been competing for 3 years and has been Taekwondo for 4 years. So she started competing after just 1 year of in Taekwondo.
That's great, because now she's probably like really comfortable on the mat. She looks pretty comfortable. She's looking up a little bit. Maybe there's a light up there, or maybe it's to help her get her balance in some way.
Yeah, she does look like she has nice long legs. She needs to just lengthen out these stances a little bit, try and keep the heels on the ground during the transitions and during the kicks.
More legs, definitely want to go out on the kicks. So now it's just a matter of letting them loose also on the stances. So I'm going to guess you get somewhere around a 5.4, 5.43.
You're so smart, Coach Brand. How did you get that number? Wow.
She's going to finish with a 5.565. Up next, we have Valerie. Okay, you're going to help me out on this one, Miyako. I'm going to say Shvadsky.
Shvadsky. That sounds right.
Shvadsky. That's a great name. She's from Maryland, and she trains at S Martial Arts under her coach, Michael So.
Well, Valerie, I don't know if you know this, but we're neighbors because I also live in Maryland.
So you've probably seen her many times training. She's probably been at your training place. You've been at her training place.
Well, in the virtual world, we're all just right next door.
That's right. We're all neighbors.
Valerie is like really flexible and she has these really nice long stances. This is something we don't see quite often this tournament. I feel like almost every athlete, I'm like, oh, I wish they would just bend a little deeper, but look at these nice, deep, long front stances.
Yeah, her front stances are definitely the highlight of her performance. That looked really strong. So Valerie is going to get a 6.4, and that's a boost from the first two athletes.
Yeah, that's significantly higher there. We haven't had any red belts before. This is our very first color belt of the US Open for the junior and cadets. So I'm not sure what the cutoff is going to be. Again, this is the semifinals. We have 14 athletes and the top 8 will move on to the final. So we'll have to see what that cutoff comes out to, but just based on the first 3 athletes, she's looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's a nice big division. Oftentimes red belts go to a smaller local tournament. Maybe they'll have 1 or 2 people in their division, but with 14, that feels like a huge competition probably for many of these athletes.
That's bigger than my division was in the US Open, and I'm in, a black belt senior 2 female group.
Well, these guys are going to have a bigger and bigger group as soon as they hit that cadet black belt.
That's true. That's true.
So she gets a 6.6. So she's going to finish after that 6.4 with a nice solid 6.5. Up next, we'll have Naruyami Zhao. Naruyami's from Minnesota, and she trains at the Kukiwan Taekwondo Academy. She looks familiar to me. I think maybe she's been at some national championships. I may have checked out that division. As I recall, she has some pretty good front kick height and really tries to boost up that side kick height, if my memory serves me right.
Well, we're going to get a good idea right now because she's about to go in some front kicks.
Yeah, I see that way up there. It almost went out of my frame.
Yeah, it's really nice. High. Wow. And you're right. She also has competed at nationals a couple of years already. In 2018, she was a yellow belt and she got a gold medal in Poomsae and in sparring. And then in 2019, she was a green belt. She went to nationals, got a silver in Poomsae and a gold in sparring. And then, of course, 2020, we were all at home. But now here, she's in the US Open.
And a good score, 6.56. Yes, I thought she looked very familiar. I'll spot the side kick here coming up. I'm sure that the side kicks are going to pop up real high from what I recall.
Well, we have a matching hairstyle today, Naruyami. We both have a French braid, which is a popular hairstyle for this division. I think we had, Jonas Lakshmi had French braid as well. But I'm always impressed with athletes who wear glasses. Yeah, there. Wow, there you go. There's that side kick.
Yeah. I remember that flexibility. I too have a French braid today, Miyako. So I'm right there with you too.
You got to show me all your braiding skills, Coach Brand.
Mm-hmm. Next time. 6.8. You mentioned before that, and she's going to get a great score, 6.68 to finish up for Naruyami Zhao, if my math is right. Yep, 6.68. You mentioned a lot of times that it takes you quite a bit of time to get that hair ready for performances. I can show you some shortcuts. This is Jihu Kim.
I imagine it just requires a pair of scissors and that's it.
There you go.
Boom, instant hairstyle.
is up now, and Jihu's from California. She trains at Sky Martial Arts Academy with her coach, Andrew Yoon.
And I think she's the first athlete that we've seen in the red belt division who's wearing a Poomsae uniform with colored pants.
Right, and it's a very colorful background as well with the orange and the green and the red and the white. Looks like a fun place to be.
Yeah. And I like that on the wall back there, building a strong body, mind, and spirit. Good overall, well-rounded idea.
And that's Jihu Kim. She gets a 6.4 for Taeguk Paljang.
시작.
Those back fists coming to the face are a little bit high, as are these single knife hand blocks. They're creeping up above her shoulder. And then that back fist should be at philtrum, and she was going up towards face, forehead height. So just be careful of some of those accuracy. Here, maybe not quite looking at the side kicks, looking almost to the camera. We'll see if the judges take off any points for that. If you're looking the wrong direction, it could be a major, which would be a 0.3 deduction.
Sure it's good.
So that could be 0.6 total if they're being strict, but does not look like they are.
I think they really liked her front kicks. That was definitely the strong part of that performance. She'll finish with a 6.435. And now up, Kate Umamoto.
시작.
I think Kate could have a little bit longer stance here. These front stances are a little bit short.
Yeah, we've seen this dojang many times in past events. This is Dixon's Taekwondo in Hawaii. We're all very envious. We wish we were there. And maybe those are just short stances because she's trying to get to the beach real fast. That's Kate Umamoto from Dixon Taekwondo.
I just love those pants.
Yeah, 6.2.
I feel like I want my name on my pants. Maybe
Yeah,
I
they're very
don't.
proud.
It just seems really cool.
Yeah, they're very proud pants. You would probably wear them all around town
I
now.
probably would.
Yeah,
Put my
it's-
state on there, my name on it. Maybe I shouldn't wear it around town. People would be able to know too much about me. But in a dojang, it's great.
Those first two those first four steps, it looked like on the second technique on each side, she was just using one hand to do that strike. So we got to make sure we're using two hands on every hand technique, which is pretty common at red belt level. I think we might get a few athletes that do that. So our hands have to work in unison rather than just throwing out one hand at a time. So that's Kate Umamoto scoring a 6.17 on Taeguk Ojang. So combining that with a 6.2, she should end up with a 6.1, 8.5.
You do that math so quick in your head, Coach Brand.
Oh, so good. And here are the standings at the beginning of this semifinal round for the red belt female cadets. Naruyami Zhao in first place. Up next, we have Kimya Habitsaday. And Kimya is coming to us from Maryland. She trains at East West Taekwondo under her coach, Stacy Yu. Oh, she has good reach on her right front kick. Really good potential for nice long stances. That one was probably one of her best ones, that last one in the Poomsae. So Kimya is going to start off with a 5.83. Yeah, it's just like our last athlete, right? I think those first few steps, step 2 and step 4, we have to make sure we're using 2 hands for those techniques.
Yeah, Kimya is really tall. She has long limbs for a cadet. So I think she just needs to get used to her body a little bit. Let them be a little bit longer, a little bit deeper, more volume of motion with those arms that she has. Because she could take up a big space in the screen and it would look really great. She just can't be scared and keep it tight to her body.
Yeah, she could definitely make those front stances bigger. She did it at the end of the first form. She gets a little higher score here, 6.13. So she'll finish with a 5.980. Up next, we have Kayla Wong. And
준비.
Kayla is from California. She trains with Team Kim Boyan.
시작.
Wow, opening up here with a ton of power.
That could definitely make a difference in the scores because so far we've seen most of the focus on finishing in the accurate spot. So to add that power, that's going to really maybe look like a jump in the score.
바로.
And it does look at that 6.94 for Kayla Wong.
Yeah, and most of that is coming from the presentation. The accuracy, a couple tenths here and there, different from the other athletes, but getting a big score in presentation is what's giving her that. And it's mostly, I bet you, coming from power.
Right,
And
she
her-
uses her core. Her core is
Yeah.
really moving with it. Yep.
And there are still things she can work on. She has double pivots and some heel pops. So definitely things to continue to clean on the ground, but trying to push some of the power and the rhythm and tempo here is giving her a lot of leeway.
바로.
Okay, so Kayla Wong with the highest score so far for Paul Jung with a 6.94.
차렷. 경례.
Looked really good also in Taega Gojang. And her score is going up a little bit to 6.97. So she'll have the lead plus a bit of a gap. She'll finish with a 6.955. This is Alexandra Fuenmayor from Florida.
시작.
She trains at American Tiger Martial Arts with her coach, Kathy Doe. Her face, she looks just like a happy person. The expression that she carries on her face is like very calm.
Some of her stances are a little bit off on accuracy, so the tiger stances were a bit too long.
바로.
That's actually not bad. That transition could be a little bit longer on the front stance, but it's a good effort to go from that back stance, stepping forward into the front stance.
Right, 6.27. Yeah, a lot of almost really goods, right? Like the stance was almost there.
Right. Just a few more inches longer, and it would be really nice. But 6.27, pretty good. We'll see what that cutoff is going to be. Again, we have 14 athletes, and we're looking to take only the top 8, unfortunately, into the finals.
바로.
Right, good job to Alexandra Fuenmayor. I think some heel
Good.
pops there might affect her score. She just has to keep her feet down nice and flat on the transitions, but she got a higher score there, 6.33. and she'll finish with a 6.3. Up next, we have Autumn Wood from North Carolina. She trains at Pure Taekwondo Center under her coach, Bernard Posey. And this club had a lot of athletes, as I recall, in the Grand Slam.
That's right. So it's nice to see some color belts. Now, we actually haven't had too many color belts in the US Open. We've seen 4 huge episodes of prelims. Now our first episode of the semifinals, and it's all red belts. So maybe we have some more color belts in the final divisions, which will be later in the episodes. We'll have to come back and make sure that we're cheering on for all of our teammates who are competing.
Right. Autumn has a lot of legs. There's a lot of leg length. So looking forward to seeing how she realizes her potential, because her legs are like, I don't know, 3/4 of her body, 80% of her body at this point, 5.73. So with some really good coaching there from Bernard Posey, I'm sure she's going to be kicking really high. So we might see that in this form. Yeah, way over her head with the front kicks.
Some of those hand techniques not quite in the right line, sort of in line with her shoulder versus the center line. So something to work on there. Something we've seen a lot from even our black belts.
See, I think she feels almost more comfortable with the kicking technique than the hand techniques.
Bro.
So that's Autumn Wood from North Carolina. And she started off with a 5.73 for Paul Jung. And now for this one, a big boost, half a point, 6.33. And she'll finish with a 6.03. Up next, we have Jazlyn Gideon. She's from up here in Sacramento. And this is her normal training spot when we go on Zoom. And for the most part, we're at a park, but oftentimes in wet weather, we're indoors. So she's familiar with this space, usually trains with her brother in this spot. So nice that she can have it all to herself.
Right. I'm seeing here that her brother is also competing, maybe in another division. His name is Tejas. Is that right?
Mm-hmm, Tejas.
Tejas. Yeah, that seems small for 2 people, but for one person, definitely enough space for her to open up nice and big here.
Right. Nice height on the front kicks.
Could work on the foot position a little bit, bending at the ankle instead of the ball of the foot, but nice flexibility. Nice long stance to finish it.
So that's Jazlyn Gideon from California, getting a 5.64.
Jazlyn is one of your students, isn't that right, Coach Brand?
That's correct.
Did you know that she's an aspiring artist?
I know she has skills in that area, so I hope that was a nice side kick. I hope she shares that more with us. Maybe she can bring some work to class.
Yeah, next time maybe. Yeah, she says she enjoys drawing both original work and characters from shows. So I'm sure we'd love to see that next time. Jazlyn, you can send some pictures with your videos next time.
She can put it up in the background. Well, she got a nice jump there, 6.1. And finishing with a 5.87. So this is Jordan Tomas. And I remember Jordan's background from earlier events. She trains at Al Taekwondo in California.
Yeah, she's opening up really clean, maybe not quite as much power as we saw with Kayla, who just came out popping. But Jordan here, nice and strong, clean, good stances. And what a great training space. Get some satin sheets back there, make it all clean background.
Nice front kick height.
Para.
Very nice job.
Yes, Jordan Tomas from Hao Taekwondo getting a biggest score that we've had so far, a 7.1.
So this is a nice comparison to
시작.
our other high score so far was Kayla, who was very, very strong, but had a few heel pops and double pivots here and there. To me, it looks like Jordan might be cleaner on the feet, a little bit less power, but maybe the judges overall are liking that clean bottom half, and then just a little bit less power is okay for them.
Right, and she definitely has the her
nice.
finish. Really nice height there.
Yeah, I feel like this presentation score is going to go up even higher on this with those side kicks.
Yeah, she really lets him finish too. So Jordan got a 7.1 for Taeguk Paljong, and now with the added side kicks there, it goes up a little bit, 7.23. Finishing with a 7.165, and now into first place, just ahead of Kayla Wong. We have Naruyami Zhao, Valerie Miyako, Kim, Alexandra Fuenmayor, Kate Moto, and Autumn Wood. That so far are the athletes that are going on to the final. So that cutoff now is 6.030. But we have two more athletes. The first is Ria Ginardin from Sacramento. Training here at Sacramento Taekwondo Club.
Which is your school. I think I remember in the summer of Poomsae, she competed, but in a different space. It would look like a school or something, maybe.
I think it might have been actually at her mom's work site, maybe.
Yeah. But it was such a small room, and she looked so tall. So here in this massive space, she looks a little bit smaller, but she is staying low in these stances and then popping way up for those massive front kicks. Great flexibility. A little bit short on those elbows, not quite getting up to the face level, but really, really making an effort to stay low in those stances.
And getting that 6.67. So I think maybe that's around the third highest score, right in that range. With that 7 out there, boy, that's going to be the one to beat.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we'll see what her side kicks look like. Her front kicks are incredible. And I remember, I think she's a dancer. So she might have some really great side kicks here. I'm excited.
And hopefully some rhythm. Let's see.
Oh, boy. Wow. Choo. Man, that right leg alignment was just perfectly vertical. I was not ready. That was so exciting.
So that's
Great
Ria
job.
Ginardin from Sacramento. So she got a 6.67 for Taeguk Paljong. See what happens here. A nice boost, 6.86. That's still, I think, at around third, 6.765. We have one more athlete to go in the division. This is Ellie Waldman from Arizona. She trains at Arizona Pride Taekwondo, World Taekwondo Center with Ruben Lawley and Megan Yee. I remember Ellie being very powerful.
Right, totally different body type to Ria, who we just saw, so tall, long limbs. Now we have Ellie a little bit more compact, but coming out really clean here. Big arm motions, good.
Right, she's very grounded And then she can use that big volume because she has such good balance. A little heel pop on that big turn there.
And she competed in both the Summer of Poomsae and the Grand Slam. She was top 8 in the Summer of Poomsae. I think that this division might be seeded on points based on the last 2 divisions. I'm not positive, but I think so because they're all American. So she might be seated in this first spot.
Real good stance work, getting 7.13. So that's just a little higher than Jordan Tomas's 7.1. So she looks super light, but also very solid.
Right, she does a good job of looking grounded. She's not kind of floating around with high stances. She's keeping it low, and that front knee is not wiggling side to side, although she does get a couple double pivots in some of these transitions.
Yeah, a couple of heel pops every now and then.
Nice power at the end of the side kick, but just a little bit off on alignment. So I think continuing to work on that side kick, but her overall form is really great.
That's Ellie Waldman from Arizona with a huge 7.13 and now a 7.3. Kapow, and into first place with a 7.215. So let's see how it turned out here. Let's look at the standings now. Going into the finals, we have Ellie Waldman in first, followed by Jordan Tomas, Kayla Wong, Riya Ginardin, Naruyami Zhao, Valerie Miyako, Jihu Kim, and Alexandra Fuenmayor. Those are the top 2 spots. So our cutoff there was a 6.3.
All right, and we're moving right along now to our male cadet red belt semifinal. We have just 10 athletes here, which is great because we'll take 8 into the finals, which means we're only going to lose 2. So not too bad of a cutoff here.
Okay, up first we have Saimantri from Illinois. He trains at White Tiger Martial Arts with his coach Sheik Lee.
So Hemant has also competed in tournaments. We have some notes here. He says the USA Championship. So I wonder if that was nationals. He won a bronze medal in board breaking in 2019 and a gold medal in Poomsae in 2019 at the USA Championship. And he also competed at Illinois State Championship where he got a gold medal in board breaking in 2019 and in 2020.
Wow, big score for Taeguk Ojang, 7.13. He looked like he was very conscious about being accurate through power for the most part throughout the form.
So I'd have to go back and take a look at who the judges are, but that's a big score. That's bigger than our highest score from the girls that we just saw. That highest score was a 7.3 combined 7.2. So we'll see here what he's able to do with this form. So this is Taeguk Chiljang, right? It's not the highest form like Paul Jong, but probably haven't been doing it for that long. So maybe a little bit less comfortable with it, but he got a massive score on 5.
Right, that's huge for the whole event, right? For the whole Cadet and Junior event. Starting off with that score is something else. So Hemant got a 7.13, now a little bit lower to 6.9. So he'll finish with a 7.015. Up next, we have Edward Pearson from Maryland. He trains at S Martial Arts with his coach, Michael So.
Wow.
Nice reach on the front kicks.
Yeah. Pretty good, clean accuracy coming forward too. Really trying to make sure that it's centered, and then the difference between the shoulder height and the philtrum height.
Mm.
바로.
Good, nice strong performance from Edward Pearson. Starting off, wow, look at the score here, 7.17, a little higher than Hema.
시작.
Well, his legs are really long, and front kicks are definitely a pro for him.
Yeah, they keep going and going.
Taeguk Chiljung has a lot of different moves, hard to do for younger athletes who are maybe just learning them. Those two bars there, the scissor blocks and then the top line. Lots of little things to work on. But he actually moved through that at a pretty confident tempo, so not too bothered by it, seemed like.
So it's Edward Pearson from Maryland, and his first score was 7.17, which was the highest of the sets of scores that we had so far. And then he got a 7.03. So he'll be in the lead here with a 7.1.
Well, actually, I think that's a tie now, isn't it? With the first two athletes?
I thought Hema got a 7.015. I could be off.
We'll have to check. I thought he got a 7.3, but I'll have to check my notes.
Okay, this is Noah Briseno in his home training space here in Sacramento.
This is another one of your athletes training at home. It looks like garage, totally cleaned out. What a nice, thank you, parents. Yeah. Wow. So it looks like he also competes in Poomsae and sparring at various tournaments out there in California.
Well, he gets a good score, 6.73.
Some of the shorter tiger stances we've seen, actually, most athletes tend to make it too long, but I think most of his are the most accurate. They could be just on the short side, but closer than I think other athletes.
Right, a little more flow on those two scissor blocks would be really nice. And
They
then-
get some, core engagement, shoulder rotation.
Right, and he's growing so much, so quickly, like a lot of our cadets. He's got to keep up with his front stance length for sure.
Right, his pants look pants and uniform top a little bit short. Maybe they fit him about 2 months ago.
So another good score, 6.67. So he's going to finish with a 6.7. So his concern is going to be, where is that cutoff? So this is Ian Zacarenta. And Ian trains in Maryland with East West Taekwondo and his coach Parshatam Sharma. This is what you were talking about on those back fists there, a little bit lower than they need to be up at the philtrum. And it happens, I think athletes oftentimes get confused with the middle blocks and the back fists, right?
Right. Couple heel pops on these transitions, but it looks like he's trying to delay and then get the power at the very end of the technique. But because of that, it's a little bit jerky in some places, but a fairly good score.
Yeah, 6.67 for Ian Zacarenta.
Make sure that we don't drop the hands below the belt in some of these hand techniques, unless it's a low block. But for like the single knife hand blocks or things like that, it shouldn't go below the belt.
Oh, that was interesting.
How's he gonna
gonna
fix
get himself
it?
out of
Oh!
Oh, he somehow, whoa,
So he pivoted the wrong way on the left side when he had to come over to our right. He rotated counterclockwise instead of clockwise, and so then he moved the other foot to get back into spot. So creative use of space there, but might have taken some majors.
so Ian finishes up with a 6.435. This is Daniel Lee from Apex Tigers Martial Arts in New Jersey. He trains there with his coach, Gidu Gun.
Shut.
Still thinking through Ian's pivot.
Right.
It didn't seem like it faced him at all.
No. Well, Daniel's doing a really good job here. He's moving through. He does have pretty good power, but it seems like he's just a little bit off balance in a lot of the finishes. So he has the hand strength, but his base just isn't quite letting him throw as much as he could.
Well, the referees really liked it, gave him some good presentation scores at 7.1.
Shut.
A little bit of a swing there on those front kicks. Want to make sure we get a good chamber both before and after the front kick. Oh no, he kept putting his toes closer together to close that stance. Double pivot there.
바로.
And that's Daniel Lee from Apex Tiger Martial
Sure.
Arts. He had a big
Shut up.
score, 7.1
Come
for Taeguk 5. And for the second, 7.07. So he'll finish with a 7.085. Up next, we have Ian Kim. Ian's coming to us from Arizona. He trains at Arizona Pride Taekwondo, World Taekwondo Center, with Ruben Lawley and Megan Yee.
Really strong clean here. He is a bit aggressive on that aim when he flipped it over on the two hand techniques coming forward. Just want to make sure that when you're doing those aims, that you don't extend the aim hand into a punch. The judges here seem to be fairly lenient with a lot of things that I'm seeing, and the scores aren't really reflecting it. So they might not take it as a major, but if you make the aim too harsh and like extend it as a punch, it could be taken as an additional movement and be a major. Obviously not
Right,
the true
we did not
here.
see it. But I know what you're saying. It's like we some people call it aim ham or trigger ham. And so when you use that hand, if you extend it out too far, it actually looks like the whole technique. So you gotta be
Right.
careful.
So we'll see it here. That aim is going out all the way fully extended. It just needs to stay bent in between the techniques. He has great coaches though, I'm sure. It just has to be mentioned and they can work through that. He got the biggest score by far though, like huge jump there. So judges really liking his style.
So very well controlled. As Ian Kim, he got the highest score by far with a 7.56 for Taeguk Gojang. And now 7.53. So he'll finish with a 7.545, and now we're going to be able to take a look at the standings here with Ian now in first, followed by Edward Pearson, Daniel Lee, Hemath Saimantri, Noah Briseno, and Iya Zacarenta. We have 4 more athletes to go in the division. The first one is Caleb
Me.
Tomlin. Caleb is from Pure Taekwondo Center in
Sija.
North Carolina. He trains there with his coach, Bernard Cozy.
And here we're starting to get more athletes from Pure, and Caleb really pushing the power out. We're getting some head bobbing with that, but really trying to push it here. Getting quite a few heel pops, so we just want to keep those heels on the ground while we're doing our transitions. Maybe try and relax a little bit more. I do like the power at the end of the technique, but I think because he's so tense, the elbows are popping out and things are just a little bit tight.
Right, so he gets a 6.53. Yeah, just a little relaxing, and we can throw out the power. I know some of us really want to turn on the power, and so it has an impact in other places in our body. We just have to make sure that our head stays steady.
Yeah, we got to work on keeping that heel down on your transitions, Caleb. I think you'll get a lot of accuracy points back just with that small thing to work on. And then it looks like you're growing really fast too. So just got to work on lengthening out those front stances, staying nice and grounded.
So he gets a 6.8 on the second form. So that's a big jump from 6.53 to 6.8. Good job on that one. We'll finish with the 6.665. This is Moshi Liu. And Moshi's from California. He trains with his coach, Robert Vargas.
Here's another example of the athlete turning the hand over in the aim and extending it a little bit far. Some heel pops here as well. A little bit big of a heel pop, actually. His whole foot might come off the ground, not just the heel. So we really want to watch those bigger transitions.
Right, there's some things happening in that rotation because he's trying to use so much power on them. So he gets a 6.94.
타격 7점. 시작.
Trying to get some core and shoulder rotation there. A little bit of hunching of the shoulders and a slight lean forward though. So working on the right thing. Some of it's coming through. Just got to be careful with the overall structure.
Right, it's almost all the issues that he has to clean up are those transitions, how he's pivoting and how he's distributing his weight. But he has a ton of power. So it's Moshi Liu from California, and he's going to get a big 7.14. So he's going to finish with a 7.040. So up next we have Arnold Nair. And Arnold is from Illinois. He trains at White Tiger Martial Arts and his coach, Sheik Lee. Wow, really boosting up for the power. Looks like his head might be a little bit tilted forward.
Mm-hmm. little bit crossed on some of these front stances. Taking his time overall. I think the front stance is actually almost okay. It's pretty low, so I feel like he's going to get away with it, but it could just be about 3 inches longer. It looks like his legs grew about 3 inches overnight. So just lengthening out those stances, but pretty strong here.
Yeah, good score, 6.96.
We're getting a bunch of scores here in the 6.9 to 7.1 area. So we're getting kind of tight there. Quite a few scores. So that cutoff, I forgot to write down what the cutoff was right now, but we had 10 athletes total taking 8 to the final. So we'll see who's going to make it after just these next 2 athletes.
I would say just for Arnav to improve a little bit, just keep that chin up a little bit. Get that head nice and level.
He did compete at the Summer Poomsae and the Grand Slam. I do remember him. I think we just need to relax those shoulders, keep the head up nice and tall, just keep working through those things. But overall, pretty strong, and he's right up there with the scores here.
Right, and a 6.8 for Chiljung. So he's going to finish with a 6.88, and you're right, he's right up there near the top. And our last athlete is Micah 2. Micah trains in California at KS Choi Taekwondo Center under his coach Daniel Choi and Megan Yi.
Really nice contrast there with the increase in speed, power at the end, a little off on some of the accuracy placements on the hands, but really nice overall so far. Nice reach.
Yeah, the recovery stance is a little bit short, but I like the effort in those nice high side kicks. So that's Micah 2 from California training at KS Choi Taekwondo Center. He gets a huge score, the highest score so far, 7.57, just a scotch above Ian Kim's first score.
시작.
Nice, very nice height on the front kick and nice posture as well. So a little tense on that last line there. Maybe just kind of relax a bit.
So we're going to have a little bit of a battle here between Ian and Micah. Ian's combined score was a 7.545.
Right.
So the decimal's 545. Micah just got a 0.57. So let's see here.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, bigger.
7.640 for Micah. That's going to be huge. Finishing with a 7.605. So let's see the standings now. Micah bumping Ian just out of first place. So Micah 2 in first, followed by Ian Kim, Edward Pearson, Daniel Lee, Moshi Liu, Hemant Saimantri, my apologies, Arnold Nair, and Noah Briseno getting that last spot for the finals.